What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to YGOPD, your Yu-Gi-Oh! Professional Development, and today I have a full-on deck analysis for the Dogmatika Punk Eldlich deck that I showcased last week on the channel, DPE. But before I get into that, I have a few amazing shout-outs. First, huge shout-out to all of our new subs that have joined the channel. Miguel, Ashwin, Official Mr. Raiden, CW, Eric, Sam, John, Funkies, Antonio, Sebastian, Parker, Better Than Better, and Brad Becker. Thank you all so much for joining the channel. Glad to have you here and excited to have you stick around and see some of the awesome content. And then, of course, we have to announce our winner for the box giveaway. This was if you had subbed before Thursday and been a new subscriber since 2021. Our winner is Steve Haro. Thank you so much for subscribing, sticking around to the channel, and is just our lucky winner. So if you would like to be in for the next giveaway that we will do when we hit our 400 sub goal, be sure to join, and you will be entered for that. I will announce that in the coming weeks. And of course, to get in contact with you, Steve, and for anyone else who wins giveaways in the future, I have a Discord set up. The link is in the description. Please feel free to join that so that way I can get in contact with you to make sure that you get exactly what you need. And if you have any other questions or things like that for the channel, feel free to drop them there. So with all that said, let's go ahead and hop first thing into the deck analysis. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. We'll go ahead and just do a quick deck breakdown. The profile itself is obviously on the channel if you want to check that out, but I want to focus a good bit of time on the combos. But just to give you the quick rationale, first things first is the starters of the deck. Starters are, of course, cards that by themselves create and complete a line of play that ends on a threat. That's just a fancy way of saying that one card should give you either a negate or a disruption by itself. So in this deck, these are all the cards that do that. We'll slide Prosperity over just for a second just to talk about it. But of course, Emergency Teleport, Foxy Tune, and Z-Ammon are all of our 1 card and 1.5 cards, considering a discard if you happen to open either Tune or Z-Ammon as opposed to Emergency Teleport. That ends you on the full Hulk combo for this deck, which is obviously 3 Omni Negates and 1 Imperm, in which the Omni Negate plays through cards like Droplet and Dark Ruler No More. We'll get into that when we hop into the combo. And then, of course, our 2 Nadir's Servant, which gets us Ecclesia and or Punishment and Floor. So you have a pop 2 or a pop 1 with a follow-up along with a Monster Negate. And then, of course, Ecclesia just getting you a card like Punishment for, again, either a pop 1 with a follow-up to search floor or a pop 2. But again, all these cards are producing either a negate or a disruption. The magic number here among these cards, not counting Prosperity, is 14. 14 is exactly what you want to see because in your 40 card deck and a 5 card hand, that hits that 90% chance of seeing at least one of those. So you're going to see at least one of these 9 out of 10 times. If we think about Prosperity and look at that in the picture, if you happen to count that in the total, then you're looking at about a 97% chance to see at least one of these 17 cards. And as for pot itself, if you're in an instance where you don't see any of these 14 cards, but you want to look at the next 6 with Pot of Prosperity, then you have a 96% chance of seeing, again, one of these 14. So anywhere between 90 to 96% of the chance of the time, you are hitting one of those starters for your full help combo, and that doesn't count everything else going on with the deck. So very important to note, and just at the bare minimum, if you want to know what are the chances of just getting these guys, you got, 9 cards in here. Plus, if you don't see any of these and you still pot for 6, you're at about 86% chance of at least seeing one of these 9. And that's already if you hadn't seen one of these in your initial opening hand. So just something important to note with that. That is our starters. Let's go ahead and hop into the next section. Okay, section number 2 is our defense. The main primary piece of the defense are these 2 rows here with our Solemns, our Torrential, our Searchable Imperm, and our Called by the Grave. If you would like to include the Eldlich, you most certainly can, but again, this hits that same magic number. We have 17 cards here that we are working with that are really, really powerful and important to note. So again, you have over that 90% chance of seeing at least one of these, if not multiple, in your opening hand. These are all cards that are essentially letting your opponent either not play the game or ensuring that you can play the game, which is really nice because you can still full help combo. And worst case, if you don't, you have pretty much almost half your deck to set and then just pass. And you can always lump Prosperity in with this category to bump this up to 20, which makes our deck literally 50%. Extremely powerful traps that really just prevent your opponent from doing whatever you want them to do. So important to note. And then we'll go ahead and touch on the last section of the deck. Okay, our last section is our extenders or additional extenders here. These are cards mainly that you're going to want to search throughout the combo, but can still be used in either way, even if you open them. So this top row here are those extenders, and our bottom row here, the Cult Wing, is our engine requirement. This is our brick of the deck. This is the card that will never get better no matter when you see it in the game. You want it to stay in the deck. The reason being is its special summon effect to get tokens only works when it is special summoned. If you normal it or draw it, there's nothing you can really do. So it's just dead at that point. It is a body. You could use it to sink, exceed, whatever. But again, that's the brick of the deck. You don't want to draw it because it loses its purpose. These all still have a purpose if you draw them. Obviously, Floor can become a monster negate depending on your board or an additional body on the field. Despot is still your tuner of choice for Hauk that can also be summoned from the hand, or again, just normal summoned, and then you can still go into Hauk plays and get your other tuner out and still continue to move from there. Eldlich again is another piece of disruption when paired with a spell or trap discard, or just another recurable body that can be on the field. So again, something that can still be used. Batum Spider is a target you want to search, but even on normal summon, you can pay the 600 and use its once per turn effect to add a trap from deck to hand that is a punk. So you are still having at least a searchable imperm from this one card. So again, it has its uses. And then of course, Hop Ear Squadron can be paired like a card with Fleur de Lis or with your Eldlich traps to make a Synchro 10 or a Synchro 7 of your choice, most notably a card like Baron de Fleur or Black Rose. So those are our additional extenders, mainly cards you want to see, but search through the deck, but can still be used in either way. This card particularly is absolutely amazing. I will touch on this as we get into the combos, but the real only brick of the deck is unfortunately just the one Cult Wing. The others can still be used in varying capacities. So with that said, we'll go ahead and hop into the first bread and butter combo of the deck with some physical cards here right on the mat. And then we'll go ahead and show a few niche interactions and overall combos just using Dueling Book, depending on how you want to look at it. So that way you can have both lenses both on the screen and on the mat. So we'll go ahead and hop right into it. All right, let's go ahead and hop into the basic bread and butter Hauk combo tutorial using the Punk engine. So you have 4 blank cards in hand. They can be literally anything. And all you need to start the combo is either Z-Ammon, Emergency Teleport, or Foxy Tune. Any one of those will work. The only thing to note is that if you use Z-Ammon or Foxy Tune, you will need a discard. However, if you open the Eldlich package, ideally that discard will then pay for itself. But to make this as simple as possible, we will just choose to use Emergency Teleport as our initial starter. So we will take our 4 blanks, put them back there, go ahead and activate that Emergency Teleport to put Z-Ammon on the board. We will activate Z-Ammon, pay 600 life points as cost to add Madam Spider from our deck to our hand. From there, we can normal summon the Madam Spider to our field and then use its effect, pay 600 to add the Dangerous Gabu from our deck to our hand. This is our impermanent. So right here, before we've even invested into the Hauk combo, you have Madam Spider getting you at least 1 imperm before we move on. And with that said, we will go ahead and link these 2 away to special summon our Crystron Halqifibrax. Crystron Halqifibrax will activate, getting us our Deskbot 001 from the deck to the field. From there, we will link these 2 away to summon our Mecha Phantom Beast Auroradon. Auroradon's effect will activate, getting us 3 tokens. The one thing to note here is that if your combo has basically just the 2 cards that make Halqifibrax and no other monsters on board, you do not need to care about your zone management whatsoever, unless you're just worried about a card like Relinquished Anima. But if you have no other monsters and just straight Halqifibrax combo, you don't have to worry about zones to make things a little bit easier for you. And then we will of course trigger the 001 because more than one machine was specialed at the same time to bring itself back. From here, we will synchro summon the 01 and a token away for our Cupid Pitch. Cupid Pitch's mandatory effect will activate. We will choose to increase its level by 1, making it a level 5 tuner. From there, we will go ahead and activate Auroradon's effect, getting rid of 2 more tokens to special summon the Cult Wing from our deck to the field. We will activate Cult Wing's effect to get us 2 more tokens. And then we will activate 001's effect to bring itself back. From there, we will go ahead and get rid of the 001 and 1 token to go directly into Herald of the Arclight. You could make Savage here first if you want. However, this still helps you insulate around Nibiru. Of course, if your opponent had Nibiru, they should have done it well before now, but you want to make the Herald first just because they can always chain to the Borreload Savage activating to equip to still wipe your board nonetheless. So Herald is the first one you want to go to. After that, we will synchro summon with Cupid Pitch in the remaining level 3 token to make our level 8 Boarload Savage Dragon. Cupid Pitch will activate as mandatory Chainlink 1 to search. Boarload Savage Dragon will activate as Chainlink 2 to optionally equip our Crystron Halqifibrax from our graveyard to that card. And then we will go ahead and resolve the Cupid Pitch's effect to add from our deck to our hand a copy of Hop Ear Squadron. And that is the end of the combo. So what does one card net you in this instance? This card combo nets you a Boarload Savage Dragon, which is an Omni Negate, twice, once each turn, since it has 2 counters from the Crystron Halqifibrax, an Omni Negate in the form of Herald of the Arclight, a Imperm in the form of Dangerous Gabu, and 1 additional Omni Negate, or a few other ways depending on how you want to use it in terms of Hop Ear Squadron. Hop Ear Squadron is in here because if you get Dropleted, Dark Ruler No More, forced out a bunch of negates, right, you are still okay to insulate yourselves from that, because let's say you use the Savage Dragon, then you go ahead and use the Hop Ear Squadron, special summon it, and then synchro summon with the Boarload Savage Dragon to make a Baron de Fleur. So even if your opponent has a card like Dark Ruler No More, you can still at resolution put at least 1 negate on the field. So we have a total of, from this combo, 3 Omni Negates plus an infinite impermanence that is searchable. Your rest of your hand can be blanks. In this case, let's just see, we have Servant, Judgment, Strike, and Conquistador. So absolutely insane, but that's where this deck really shines, right? Even if the Hulk combo doesn't happen, set 4 pass is still pretty good. So you have a lot of freedom to play with that. And of course, if you want to, if you have the Eldlich trap like Conquistador or Harquero, you can pair that with your Hop Ear Squadron 2 on your opponent's turn, quick effect, and Black Rose Dragon the field. All right, let's go ahead and hop into our first combo. This is just the basic 1-card combo here. We will go ahead and use Emergency Teleport, get our Z Ammon. So this only requires 1 card because of E-Tele. We're going to special summon, add Madam Spider. By paying 600, pay another 600, use Madam Spider to add the Dangerous Gabu. From there, we will go ahead and make Crystron Halqifibrax use its effect to get Deskbot 01. Get rid of those 2 for Auroradon. Auroradon will give us 3 tokens, and because 2 or more machines were special at the same time, we can get back 01. From here, the first thing you'd like to do is Herald. Will insulate you from Nibiru. From there, we can go ahead and activate our Cult Wing to get a Auroradon to get Cult Wing, therefore, and get 2 tokens, and then get back 01. We will go ahead and make Cupid Pitch, increasing its level by 1, getting rid of the level 5 Cupid Pitch and the level 3 token for a Boarload Savage Dragon. Cupid Pitch will be 1, Savage will be 2. We will then resolve Savage, use Hop Ear Squadron to add from deck to hand, and then from here, we are ending on a few different pieces of negation. We have our Omni Negate through Herald. We have our Omni Negate through Boarload Savage. We have our Imperm through Dangerous Gabu. So that is our 2 main Omni Negates, as well as our Trap Imperm. That is searchable. And then on our opponent's turn, we can use a card like Hop Ear Squadron as a follow-up to get rid of itself, and the Boarload Savage to make a level 10 Synchro, which in this case is Baron de Fleur, our level 10, and our 3rd piece of negation that will let us play around cards like Forbidden Droplet or Dark Ruler No More, since we can still use Hop Ear to resolve afterwards and still have at least 1 Omni Negate and 1 Imperm. And so that is it for our first 1-card combo. Let's go ahead and hop into the 1.5 card combo. So for the 1.5 card combo, I will put everything back just to demonstrate. In this instance, you can open either Z Ammon or Foxy Tune and just 1 other discard of your choice. The combo will be the exact same. The only difference is because we had to use our normal summon for Z Ammon, we will then need to use Foxy Tune to discard itself as cost, and then another card on resolution to special another punk from the deck. From there, the combo is the exact same. We will go ahead and get Madam Spider and go our Imperm, go ahead and make Halqifibrax, Auroradon, and then get our 3 tokens, bring back the 01, make our Herald, use Auroradon, get Cult Wing, get 2 tokens, bring back the 01, get rid of those 2 for Pitch, increase its level by 1, make our Savage, equip Hulk, search Hop Ear Squadron, and then from there, that is all there is. We have our Imperm, we have our Omni through Herald and Savage, as well as our Hop Ear Squadron on our opponent's turn to special summon itself out and get rid of both it and Savage for our Baron. So that is the simple bread and butter 1 card combo and 1.5 card combo. From there, we will go ahead and hop into our next piece, which is going to be our Creation Resonator line. This is if you choose to play Creation Resonator instead of Hop Ear Squadron, which you most certainly can do, but I prefer the Hop Ear either way. But what you'll do is you'll actually make Cupid pitch first in this case instead of Herald. Go ahead and use Auroradon to get Colt Wing as well as 2 tokens, and then bring back the 0-1. So the difference here that matters is we're going to go ahead and use pitch first to make our Savage Dragon, equipping our Halqifibrax from our grave, and then searching the Creation Resonator. Now, the order does matter here. You can wait a little bit to summon the Resonator, but I like to go ahead and get it out of the way since we have our Omni Negate on the field. From here, we're going to go ahead and make a level 10 first using our Creation Resonator and our Colt Wing. Colt Wing's level is modified since you have a Mecha Phantom Beast token on the field. Its level is increased by the level of that respective token. So it is a level 7, and we can synchro with our level 3 tuner for Creation Resonator to go ahead and make our Baron as our level 10. And then we wait and do our Herald last. So overall, the play is pretty much the same. Of course, if you do the standard combo, you will get the Dangerous Gabu as well. The only difference is you are now choosing to go ahead and end on the 3 negates that are any type of Omni Negate as well as the Imperm first, rather than saving one in terms of Hop Ear Squadron. Both have their drawbacks and their benefits. I just like saving one because it is a little bit easier to do and lets you play through a few more negates. But if you're wanting to play Creation Resonator over a card like Hop Ear Squadron, you most certainly can do so. But I recommend Hop Ear also if you don't feel like paying the $7-8 for a Creation Resonator right now. So that is the simple Creation Resonator line. And then from there, we'll go ahead and hop into our last piece, which is kind of my favorite of the deck that I'm still growing and exploring, are some niche interactions here in the combo. So we'll go ahead and put a lot of things back. We'll start walking through our standard combo a little bit, just dumping stuff to get along the way, just so we can make our lives a little bit easier. But the main card I want to talk about for this is our Hop Ear Squadron. And the reason I like Hop Ear Squadron is, again, it gives you a little bit more freedom and interaction on your opponent's turn. So the main thing I want to focus on is you having a level 8 on board, which can either be Borreload Savage Dragon, Foxy Tune, or Floor, and then you just simply use Hop Ear on your opponent's turn to make a level 10. Now, here is where you have a lot more flexibility in the deck. So you can obviously make your standard play for Baron, but the other techs that I'm playing around with are as follows. We have, let me go ahead and spit them out right here. We have, and of course, Cupid Pitch is just relevant here to note because that was how we got to our Hop Ear Squadron. But if you're looking for some other options that might be a little bit more unexpected or give you some type of competitive edge, obviously the new Sword Soul Synchro is something you can go for. We don't really have a way to trigger its Banish effect except for itself, but again, is nonetheless a generic level 10 Synchro that can be used. But my favorite other 3 that I've been tooling around with are Stardust Warrior, Satellite Warrior, and Ruddy Rose Dragon. So for Stardust Warrior, if you are unfamiliar, basically what you do is that if your opponent special summons a monster, you can quick effect tribute itself, negate the summon, and if you do, destroy the monster. But the neat thing about this guy is the end phase, if that turn is used, it special summons itself back. So you basically have a quote-unquote solemn strike for summons, special summons at least every turn that is recurring. So that might be something you want to choose to go into over a card like Baron. When it dies, you can bring out a level 8 Warrior Synchro. Of course, the only target is Road Warrior. It means warrior in the name, not warrior the type. But this is a really cool piece of interaction that is recurring and just does a lot of neat things. Of course, if you have the flex space, you can put some of these guys in here since Baron can also return herself to the extra deck, and then you can continue to make plays from there. The second option you have that I think is probably by far one of my favorites right now is Satellite Warrior. So when this card is Synchro summoned, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of Synchro monsters in your grave and destroy them, and then it gains 1,000 attack permanently for each card destroyed. So this comes out at 2,500. If you keep this as part of your standard combo, you'll end with Herald of the Arclight, Borreload Savage, and Cupid Pitch in your grave. So when it comes out, it can pop up to 3 cards your opponent controls and gains 3,000. So it's sitting at 5,500, which is kind of nuts, and is definitely a card I've almost been liking a little bit more than Baron, just because it really kind of cleans up the board, especially for meta decks like Sword Soul, where they keep extending and they have a monster plus a token on the field. Sometimes negation doesn't really do it. Actually getting rid of some more stuff on the field is really powerful. And worst case, I kind of like this a lot because if they don't do anything, you can simply do this at the end of main phase and then pop whatever they have left. So a powerful card that I recommend trying. It's really, really solid tech to use. And then last, of course, is Ruddy Rose. This is a generic level 10. And of course, the main caveat to this is when it dies, you can special summon Black Rose from the deck. So it's a little bit of a delayed board wipe. Not something super great. I'd rather just go for Black Rose directly myself. But again, nonetheless, is another really cool target that you can mess around with if you have something that you're just really trying to figure out with the deck. So that is our level 10 options. And just as a reminder, we can obviously go into those level 10s with, again, any level 8. So that's Boarload Savage, Foxy Tune, or Floor, plus our Hop Ear Squadron. So there are definitely plenty of ways to get into those. The next little niche interaction I like to point out, and I think I mentioned this in the deck profile, is Black Rose Dragon. This is also one of my favorite tech options to go into. So you have a card like Hop Ear Squadron that you can pair with either of your level 5 Eldlich trap monsters, which makes opening these by themselves without either Golden Lord or Sanguine feel even better. Since you search this as part of your normal combo, this is always a route you can take, as if you're just really sick of what's happening, you can just nuke the board, and then worst case, you still have Eldlich plays you can do on the following turn. So it's really powerful, really, really cool, and just a nice thing to always have as an option. So, and then the last kind of piece that I want to mention here is related to Auroradon, Cupid Pitch. Let me go ahead and get that board set up with some of the tokens here. And this is for going second. So we can use that 01 and one of those tokens to make Cupid Pitch. And we can actually reduce its level by 1. So the level modification effect is mandatory. So you have to choose up or down. But if you're in a position where you feel like you want to mess with this, you most certainly can do it. The other option you can do is using Cupid Pitch and the 2 level 3 tokens, so all 3 level 3 monsters, to make a level 9 Synchro, which actually gives you access to a card like Mistworm or Trishula to rip a card out of their hand or bounce up to 3 cards on their field back to the hand. So these are 2 really cool options if you're just looking for something a little bit different, or if you feel like they've wasted enough negates on the initial Hulk combo, or maybe your Eldlich Send or something like that, or you decide to play a version with more hand traps and you've baited out most everything and you just want something clean everything up really nicely. These 2 cards can really, really do it. Obviously, Trish has the reprint now, I believe, in gold, making it a bit more accessible. But Mistworm, unfortunately, I think is about like $10 or so due to the printing and the age of the printing. So, but again, 2 really neat options. This deck has a lot of flex in the extra deck that you want to mess with. So those are definitely things you can consider. And then, of course, the last little piece of interaction here to note is just Halka Fibrex itself. Sometimes players that are not that keen to the Hulk combo will just try to Veil the Hulk or Imperm the Hulk, which is perfectly fine because you let it sit around. And then on your turn, you can get a card out like Formula Synchron, giving you a free card. And then on top of that, pairing it with a card like, again, Foxy Tune or Floor, one of your level 8s, to go ahead and make a Baron, or one of your 2 level 5s in the form of Conquistador or Hakuero to make a Black Rose. And of course, these are both interchangeable. You could do any of the level 10s we suggested, or if you want a negate, you could go for something like Dawn Dragster as well. So that is it. That is a lot, and that was a lot really quickly, but overall, I hope you learned something neat, got to see some new text, saw how the deck functions completely different, and there's so much room and so much ceiling for how this deck can really go right now with abusing the Hulk combo beyond just normal decks. So I hope with that said, you enjoyed the video. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, make sure your subscriptions are on so you can be entered into that next giveaway or be part of that next sub shout out. And with that said, I will see you all in the next one. Later.